Hello and welcome to Cliff Reviews Art House. This time I'm reviewing the film Flow, directed by Gints, Zilbalodis. This animated feature is about a group of animals that survive a post-apocalyptic event that seems to have wiped out humanity and who are then dealing with a cataclysmic flood. It's kind of like the story of Noah's Ark, as if the animals had had to fend for themselves without Noah. It's been very well received by the critics, and it won the Oscar for Best Animated Feature Film. It was even nominated for Best International Feature Film. High praise. The woman sitting a few seats along from me in the screening I went to was completely absorbed by it, covering her eyes at several points where the animals were in danger. The animation does look very impressive. The landscapes particularly look so real, trees, mountains, waterfalls, kind of hyper-real. However, after all the hype, I was really underwhelmed by this film. Although it's only 85 minutes long, I got quite bored. Now, I am a sucker for certain types of animation, Spider-Man, the Disney classics, even SpongeBob SquarePants. However, when animation is used for art house cinema, where it's used in a less commercial way, I do sometimes struggle with it. There are animations that fall into this category that I've really enjoyed. Robot Dreams, for example, which I did review on the channel. Last year I saw Wild Robot. I didn't review it, but I didn't enjoy that as much. I think I probably like animation as kids' entertainment. It appeals to the child in me, and I kind of love the nostalgic effect that it can have for me. But animation as artwork, in truth, I'm probably less convinced of that as a genre. I think a lot of this probably comes down to taste. I wouldn't criticise anyone who loves this film. I just have to accept that it's not for me. So let me be a bit more specific about why I didn't like it. Firstly, I found that there was a strange thing about the animation. Some of the animals, like the dog and the beaver-like creature, were not done in the same hyper-real way. It almost looked glitchy as they moved, and light reflected on their fur, like when you see ghostly patches on a lower quality TV picture that has a lot of black in it. Now, no one else has mentioned this. In fact, the animals have been universally praised for being so realistic. I'm not sure why they did it like this. For me, I found it really distracting. It really clashed with the hyper-real landscapes. There's no dialogue in the film, so at one level the film works in quite a minimal way. The animals do express a lot of emotion and do effectively communicate without words. Perhaps it's just me, but I didn't engage with this at all. It felt like it was just making the animals do cute things accompanied by cute noises. I felt that it wanted me to go, oh, when the cat meowed or purred. I can see that if you do have this reaction to the film, it does engage you. But once that didn't happen for me, it never quite did enough to draw me in. Although there is no speech in the film, the animals are so human-like. In the end, it didn't really feel like a film about animals surviving. These don't actually feel like animals. They're steering boats, they're collecting junk, they're pulling ropes to save each other. They're behaving in really human ways. In terms of the cinematography, there's no doubt that some of it looks so impressive. The opening shot of the cat's reflection in the pond felt like a really strong start, a stunning image of the reflection in the water. All of the water in this film actually does look amazing. The other thing that I found very impressive was the way the camera moves. It moves in a way that would be really difficult to do in a conventional drawn animation. When two animals are facing each other, for example, the camera sweeps round between them rather than just cutting between the two. At other times, the camera follows a character like someone is carrying a Steadicam filming them. It does look really impressive at times. Of course, this is all done digitally using CGI, using software that creates this 3D world. So then, actually, it becomes like a video game. So while I started off being impressed by some of the simulated camera movements, I started to realise that I was judging it by more traditional hand-drawn techniques. In the end, this becomes like a video game environment. I almost expected Lara Croft to jump out from behind of one of the ruins. It looked like the set for a Tomb Raider game. Now, I'm really not at all anti-technology when it comes to filmmaking, but I felt that Flow didn't do enough to transcend this video game aesthetic. If you're going to use a video game environment to make a film, I think I really preferred Grand Theft Hamlet. I did a review of that film a little while back. I don't know if I'm being unfair on Flow. If you think I'm missing something in the animation techniques, do let me know in the comments. But I'm really not sure why this film has done so well. Sometimes I guess the time is just right for a certain type of film. Clearly it's topical with its themes of environmental crisis, harmony and interconnectedness with nature, different forms of life cooperating and adapting to changes in their environment. But to me it just feels like you put some cute animals around this topical political issue, make them cute, emphasise the indie nature of the film as something different from the big budget commercial animations. All of these things may just have made it be the film in the right place at the right time. I suspect that children might like it, and perhaps it will make some of them reflect on the themes in the film. I don't know. I won't begrudge this film its Oscar for Best Animated Feature. It is a really impressive use of the software to make something that on the whole looks so good. This did become a negative for me, however, but I can understand why some people might give this much more weight than I do. It was up against Inside Out 2, Memoir of a Snail, The Wild Robot and the latest Wallace and Gromit film. I didn't see Memoir of a Snail, but of those I saw, I would have actually given the Oscar to Inside Out 2, but what do I know? I do find it very strange that it was nominated for Best International Feature, along with I'm Still Here, which won the Oscar, The Girl with the Needle, Emilia Perez and The Seed of the Sacred Fig. Although I have various mixed views on these films, I just don't feel that Flow sits well in that company. Perhaps I have been a bit harsh on this film. It's inoffensive, and as I say, I think that children might like it. It does perhaps make a refreshing family alternative to the big commercial Snow Whites and Mufasas. However, I didn't connect with the characters, and combined with the minimalist story, I did find it somewhat boring. My biggest problem was that it all takes place in what looked like a video game environment more than actually brilliant animation. I really didn't enjoy this film beyond a superficial admiration of some of the impressive looking graphics. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.